Church Rediscovery weekend, what's that all about? Well, it's something new. It's come out of the two sides of things that I do. Firstly, the walking tours, and secondly, the speaking, the seminars. It's bringing it all together for a weekend, and I'm really excited about this, and hopefully I will enthuse you throughout the next few minutes. So imagine this: you come either alone or with a group of people, by car, by tube. If it's tube, we'll pick you up. You'd arrive about 12 o'clock lunchtime on the Saturday. There'll be a buffet lunch prepared for you. Then in the afternoon there'll be 3 seminars with rest in between and refreshments, and we'll be looking at the history of the church, looking at the underlying mindsets of the church, of what went wrong and what can go right and what needs to be rediscovered. So this is the sense of really sort of rediscovering the church and how it should be, and elements of this thing that we call Hebraic church, or the Jesus mindset, will be looked at as well, and there'll be time for questions as well. And so that will sort of finish around about supper time, and we'll bring in like fish and chips, or even Chinese, or whatever people want. We'll bring it into the hall, which we have that for the whole day anyway. Then some entertainment, hoping that we'll get my son Johnny and his ministry partner to lay on some, say, a drama performance of some kind. That's not definite yet, but we're hoping for that. And then round about 5 minutes away, there's the hotel for the night, where the most likely place would be the Holiday Inn Express, which is a lovely hotel right next to the station, only about 5 minutes drive away, where you'll have ensuite, you'll have TV, you'll have breakfast, and so sort of luxury accommodation for the night. So this is not low budget. We're looking after you here. Of course, if you live in London or can commute, then you don't have to stay overnight, and obviously the price will be cheaper. So anyway, so that's the Saturday. So the Sunday, we'll either meet at the tube station next to the hotel or in London itself, and it will start at St Paul's, which is about half an hour tube journey. We'll start about 10 o'clock in the morning at St Paul's, and we start off and we'll just look at St Paul's and just talk about it, and we'll sort of see that as a symbol of Christendom, and see where that takes us. And then for the next 3 or 4 hours, there'll be a walking tour around the city of London. It will end in St Paul's, and two sort of strands that will run parallel to each other. Firstly, it will be the history of Christianity in this country, where London, being sort of the centre of everything, is the best place to examine how the church started and how it developed, and where it went right, where it went wrong, and all the ups and downs. And we'll look at that, and there's plenty of sites of interest. There's a crypt in a church with elements there that are going right back to sort of Roman times and Norman times, and you can actually see that in the crypt. And there's another crypt with most fantastic stained glass windows, with very atmospheric, and there's plaques, and there's gardens, and there's all sorts of things. Well, parallel to that, and this is the interesting bit, is we're going to trace the history or the story of the remnant church, which is the church that sort of was on the outside of Christendom. And we go right back to John Wycliffe as, let's say, the person who sort of kick-started the whole thing. He was called the morning star of the Reformation. He's the man that dared to translate the Bible into English and was persecuted, and we see the story from him all the way round to John Wesley, Methodism. And there are 2 or 3 very interesting sites there of interest. We end up at the monument to Wesley, but also a place called the Christian Heritage Centre, where hopefully we'll get chaps there to give us a talk, where in the church you can actually see the big panels which actually show you visually the history of Christianity in London, and that would be hopefully interesting talk if he's able to do it. But at the same time, again, Johnny, my son, and his mate hopefully will be dramatising these events, particularly in four different episodes, taking sort of becoming the main characters in the drama of the remnant church. So that'll be fascinating. hopefully it will work out. And right at the end, just before the talk at the Heritage Centre, you'll have an hour for lunch, and we're conveniently just opposite the Museum of London. So your lunch hour can be in the museum, which is free to wander around. Of course, at the end of the tour, you can go back there, and it's fantastic. It's a beautiful museum. There's loads to do there. So in a sense, the whole thing will finish about 2:30. Then you can make your own way back, pick up your car, and off you go. So that's it. That's the church weekend away. The first one is May. Look at my diary. 6th, 5th. No, that was March. The 7th and the 8th. The 7th and the 8th of May is the first one. If it's successful, I'd love to do it on a monthly basis, but it depends on the take up of this first one. It's early days yet, but the earlier you can book, the better for us. It's only a small deposit, and it's great for us to know numbers, because then we have to book the hotel rooms, etc. So do come to this, and we'd love to meet you. I'm sure we'll have a great time together. Okay.